Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna solve Leetcode problem 152, maximum product subarray. Okay, so feel free to pause the video just to read through the problem and kind of get an understanding of what it's asking, but I prefer explaining through the examples. Okay, so given an array, for example nums 2, 3, -2 and 4, what is the maximum product I can get from this array? Okay, so obviously, and it has to be of continuous integers, so we can't say the maximum. Obviously the maximum is 2 times 3 times 4, but it's not contiguous because there's a number in between. Okay, they have to be together, and the maximum is just 2 and 3 because that's 6. Okay, because if we add this guy it becomes negative, which is smaller, and we can't add this guy because he's on the other side. Okay, so it's pretty simple, right? Pretty straightforward. For this guy, again, the maximum we can possibly get is 0 because 0 is next to everyone. We can't pick 2 by himself, we can pick 1 by itself because they're negative, right? -2, -1. 0 is the highest. Okay, we pick any number in 0, we pick the whole array. Okay, so again, the first thing I can think of, okay, let's get a word pad right now. Okay, the first thing I can think of, right, is brute force. Okay, let's use brute force. So meaning if we're given the array in example 1, okay, 2, 3, -2 and 4, what's the maximum possible array I can get? Okay, why don't we go through and figure out what is every possible array I can get? So the first one is 2, the maximum product of this guy is just 2. Then the next possible one I can get is 2 and 3. Okay, maximum product of this guy is 3. Then the next one is 6. I'm sorry. I'm tripping. Then the next possible array I can get is 2, 3, -2. Okay, and this guy is what? -12. Okay, we already know it's not gonna be this guy. Okay, then the next one is 2, 3, -2 and 4. Okay, and this is what? 12 multiplied by 4, I believe it's 48, so -48. Okay, it's not gonna be this guy. Okay, so the next one we can do is we can exclude this 2, okay, and just do 3. 3 by itself actually counts. Okay, he's just 3. Okay, then we can do 3 and -2, just -6. Then we can do 3, -2 and 4. Okay, it's just -24. So you see where I'm going, right? The next guy can be -2 by himself. Okay, he's just -2. So we can literally do for every possible combination of this array. This is called the brute force method, and this is kind of how we're going to solve it first. It's not the most efficient method, however it works, and I feel like it helps us understand the problem more. So without further ado, let's solve it using the brute force method first. Okay, so first I'm going to define a function. Define a function called, I'll call it max product. Okay, max product, and what he takes a list nums. Okay, so let's say pass for now. Okay, and let's go ahead and create our driver code to call this function driver code. So I'm just gonna say nums. I'm just gonna use the exact example this guy's used. So obviously we know if it's this, we know to expect 6 to be the value. Okay, then I'm gonna say print, call the function. Okay, now let's run it to make sure everything's okay. It looks like everything should be okay, but we'll see. Yeah, okay, returns none. We're good. Everything's okay. Okay, so first step I'm gonna do is create a variable called maximum product, or max prod for short. Okay, and what do I want to do? I want to assign him to as low of a number I can possibly think of, and you're gonna see why in a little bit. So I'm gonna assign him to -infinity. Okay, so I assign him to -infinity, again as low of a possible number you can think of. We can choose 0. 0 might be fine, but just in the case of negatives, but it's better to use -infinity. Okay, so now I want to iterate through this loop like I promised. So for I in range, okay, length of what? Of nums. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 4 items in here. Just to make sure, let's just print nums of I. Okay, just so we can kind of visualize it. Okay, bam, we're printing everyone. Okay, that's good. So our for loop is working correctly. Okay, so what do we want to do? I'm going to create a dummy variable called temp list. Doesn't matter what you call it. This variable is actually useless, but it's just more or less to show you guys what's going on, but it doesn't actually add to our actual functionality of our code. So now I'm going to create a second variable called current product. So it's a current product. This is actually useful. I set him equal to 1 initially. Okay, I set him to 1. Okay, so what do I want to do next? I want to iterate again a second time through this array. Okay, but I want to iterate in such a way that I'm not taking the same number twice. Okay, so if I is on this guy, okay, if I is 0, I want to start from 1. Okay, so I don't take 2 and 2. Okay, and how do I want to do it? I just say for j in range. Okay, what range? I want to start from I. Like I said, I don't want to take I. So I, okay, so whatever I is, that's where I start from, right? If I is here, okay, we start from whatever I is and go onwards, right? Okay, to what? To length. Okay, we don't start from behind I, because if we've already compared 1 and 3, and we do 2 and 3, 2, 4, 2. If we've gone this way, when we're this, there's no point in us going from 3 back to 2, because we've already taken care of that. So anyways, we're gonna do again also norms. Okay, so this is our second for loop. Okay, so now what do we want to do? As we go through this, I want to add to this template. Again, this template is a useless variable. It doesn't add to the functionality of this code. It's just so we can see what's going on. Okay, so I want to append to him every time we go through the smaller, so we can see what's going on. Okay, what do I want to add to him? Norms of j. Okay, that's who I want to add into him. Okay, every time. Okay, then I also want to update my current product. Okay, so what is my current product? My current product is just the product of whatever he was before, okay, times the j I'm on. For instance, if we're on this guy and j is this guy, okay, it's just this multiplied by this, okay, and we'll keep going on. Okay, so times norms of j. I hope that's kind of making sense, but again, it will all come together in the end. Okay, now I want to update my max prod. Okay, max prod is the guy I created at first, right? I want to update him. Okay, now who's he gonna be? He's just gonna be the maximum between himself, max prod, the value he was before, and our current product. Whoever is maximum, whoever is bigger, make him the maximum product. So now once we have this, now again, like I said, we're only doing this to visualize. Let's go ahead and make some prints. Okay, but before we do that, let's go ahead and return. So at the end of this loop, what should happen? I should return my max prod. I think this should be correct for now. Let me go ahead and delete the space. Let's run it. Again, we're expecting 6, right? Like in the example, 6. So that's correct, right? But let's see what happens. Let's print some things so we can see what's actually going on. So I'm gonna add this print statement. Print what I want to print. I want to print temp list as we're going through this inner array. Okay, and I also want to print the current product so we can see what the current product of each of those lists is. Okay, then also once we come out of this first loop, in the second loop, I want to print the max product of just the second. Once we're done with the array, whatever the max product is. So let's run it and see what happens. Okay, good. So like I explained brute force, right? We first start with 2. The product is 2, so we can see that here 2, 2. Then next we have 2 and 3. Product is 6. 2 and 3. Product is 6. That's what we're printing in this line right here. Then 2, 3, and -2. Product is -12, just like we had on the paper. Then -48. Okay, good. We did. Then if you go through this, once we're done through this, because we've gone through this already one time, right? Our maximum product of all this is 6, which is print max product, which is what we're printing right here. Okay, then next we pick up 3. Okay, we go with 3. Bam, bam, bam. We do the exact same thing. Maximum product once you go through here is also 6. It's still 6 because it was 6 before, right? But here we didn't have 6 in this loop. Then we do it for the next guys. Again, just we're going with this structure. We come out and our maximum stays 6. So this code works. Okay, it works. Let's go ahead and see what Leetcode thinks about this. Okay, but before we do that, let's go ahead and remove this print statements because, like we said, they're not useful. And let's go ahead and remove this temp list. He was not useful. We just created him so we can visualize what was going on. Go ahead and remove this. Okay, so this is the actual bread and butter, the meats and potatoes of the code. It works. Let's go ahead and take it and Leetcode and see what Leetcode has to say to us. Okay, let's go in, let's paste it. Again, what I like to do if I'm pasting on Leetcode, I like to move everyone backwards, move them back, and then from this point I like to kind of like edit the guys. So okay, so I think it looks good. Let's go ahead and run and see what happens when we run it. Okay, accepted. Let's go ahead and submit it and see. think he might time out. He might time out, or he might be wrong. Let's see. Because again, this is just a brute force method. It's just going through every single item. Exactly. He timed out. Let's see the details of the timeouts. Okay. So whenever the input is this array, see how big it is? So many items are in this array. It times out. Okay. So this solution is correct, but it's not efficient because it doesn't meet Leetcode's time limit. So in part 2 of this video, we're going to solve it in a more efficient manner. That's it for the video, guys. I hope it was helpful. I'll see you in the next one.